So welcome to the podcast. If you don't know, this is Real Talk with BK episode 2. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, for real, yeah.
So I'm here with, I'll let him introduce himself, but I'm going to say one of a very spiritual man of God. Not only that, though, but one of the coldest barbers, I'll say, in the Bay Area, period. Not just in Vallejo, is way beyond that. And just somebody that always spits knowledge and game and just has so many different avenues of things. I like to call him a renaissance man because he does a little bit and knows a little bit about everything and he's good at it all. I'd like to introduce you to zaystylin now. It's not
Zaystylin, yeah, that's my
but
barber name.
but his name is
Yeah.
Isaiah, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, so my name is actually Isaiah Thomas. Yes, Isaiah Thomas, like Isaiah Thomas of the Detroit Pistons. People always ask me, did your parents name you after Isaiah Thomas of the Pistons?
No. Like, no.
No.
It just is a coincidence. That's my name.
Yeah, my actually my mom, she gave me that name. She told me all the time how God told her to name me that. And my dad's last name just so happened to be Thomas.
So it's just a coincidence. See, that's
Yeah.
what, and even starting it off, that's one thing that I always love about sitting in your chair is like, it's almost like a therapeutic session, I like to say, because we talk about a little bit of everything, how your day's going, how your weeks have been. I just had a daughter, and he was one of the people that would talk to me about, like, being a parent and, like, what it's like and how he had visions of his kids before they were there and how parenting is something that kind of comes to you. So let's just speak to that. How do you use barbering to, like, branch out and to do so many other things?
Like, it's so many other things as far as what?
Just like in life, like as far as like using it to be like a spiritual guidance, using your platform, which is, it starts when people go to your page. It starts because they see these immaculate cuts.
Right,
But they're
right.
also gonna get information about the Bible, how you're feeling, what's going on in life. Like, what do you think uses the barbering as just like the nucleus to branch off into so many other things?
Well, first off, one thing that I always used to hear my instructors in barber school tell us all the time: we're not just barbers. We're sports analysts,
Right.
we're fashionistas, fashion experts,
Right.
therapists. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And some of us are like myself, chosen vessels to be used by God. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's funny because one of the main top two things that they tell you not to talk about in the barbershop is politics and religion. But because I know who is in control of my life or who I serve, if I'm directed or ordered to do something, like speak to somebody about a certain thing, I'm gonna do that because if I don't do it, somebody else probably won't.
Exactly.
Ain't no telling when the next time they're gonna get to hear what they need to hear from whoever. You know what I'm
Especially
saying?
like having a higher being that you feel that like is telling you, I don't even know what the situation is, but they're just telling me to tell you this. That's kind of like the way it is. Like, I'll sit in your chair and we'll be talking about something and you'll just be like, you have to use this platform to do other things. Or like when
Right.
I just had a daughter recently, and you're like, being a parent is something that is going to come to you, and you're not going to realize how natural it is if you really love your child and you're really there and you're doing all these things. And that's exactly what it's been. So speak to that. Like, how do you feel when you're cutting and you have all these different heads? Yeah, obviously it's your way of living. It's how you're getting your paycheck, but at the same time you're using that to connect with so many different other people.
Man, bruh, honestly, you kind of just adapt to the job. You adapt to being the barber. Being a barber, I say, is almost like being a celebrity, man, because first of all, if people don't know who you are or what you do, you ain't gonna have no clientele.
Right.
So it forces you to associate with people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the most associate person, I would say, because I'm a speak when spoken to person.
Right.
So unless I know you, more times than none, I'm not gonna really speak to you. Now, if I'm in like a certain little setting, and I obviously need to speak and make myself known, like, hey, I'm such and such. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that.
Like a business setting, you're gonna go out there and put yourself out there because you want
Right,
your
right.
business name to be out there and be known.
Right, but it's just as far as how I've always been, unless I'm just comfortable, with my environment or who I'm around,
Mm-hmm.
I'll fill somebody else out first,
Right.
to even see if I even feel like you're approachable for me to come speak to you, because I don't know what you thinking. You may not want me in your face
Right.
talking to you. You
Or
know
you
what
might
I'm
be
saying?
talking about something that's kind of personal that you don't know is God telling you to
Exactly.
do it. But they might be like, man, how
Right.
would you know my business or this, that, and the
Right,
other
right,
thing?
right. Yeah, man. It's crazy. A lot of times, like when I'm talking to a client and we just talking about whatever, uh, they'll say something that'll kind of give me like an avenue to get on that topic and talking about God.
Right, right.
And sometimes I won't even be trying to get on that topic. I'm just trying to have a good casual conversation with the person, the client.
And it kind of drives you towards that gem that God
Something,
wanted you to speak about, or
something
like
that they say or something that they ask me, and I'm gonna give an honest answer, and it usually is gonna revolt back to something spiritual as my reason as to why I don't do X, Y, and Z,
Exactly.
or why I don't watch X, Y, and Z, or such, things of that nature. So
Yeah.
when I give them that answer, it's not only enlightening for them, but it also gives them a reminder,
Right.
kind of like an encouraging reminder, like don't forget about God in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No, I like that.
We can get sidetracked with everything else, especially with things that we just enjoy to do. We can get so sidetracked with just being busy
Right.
all the time.
'Cause that's what life is about. We have so many other things that we kind of prioritize at time, but it's always
Yep.
it doesn't mean nothing if God's not in the center of it or not at the helm of it.
Right, right. And so when he's not at the helm of it, you can forget about him, and then next thing you know, you're caught up in the cycle of trying to find something to I guess like lean on for some type of dependency, or kind of like you know how people be like, I gotta get my fix, like my daily fix or something.
Right.
All you really need is God. You haven't
True.
spent no time with him.
True.
When you spend time with him, you get all of what you need. You get that peace. You get that reassurance. When you don't get that, when you're not feeding your spirit with the word or just spending time in his presence, you'll start to notice how your spirit kind of shifts. You know, you start
that's
having
true.
those different little mood swings, or you just like, man, what's wrong with me? Like, I'm just not feeling it. Like, I'm just feeling, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
exactly.
it's because your spirit ain't been fed.
And
You know
that's
what I'm
really,
saying?
man, that's wild. That's powerful right there.
It happens to me all the time.
No, that's true. I
And
mean,
then-
even to just come straight into it and just to talk about that, like I said, he's way more than a barber. I get this on like every 2-week basis. I'll sit in this chair and be feeling good, feeling great. We'll talk about stuff, and it leads us to a conversation
Yeah.
that ends up being about God, and it ends up usually being in the area of where my thought process was.
Yeah.
And that's something that's kind of huge, and I always appreciate that because it's like, you're just using yourself as a vessel. You're not really even trying to do it. It's just like it's God decided to do that. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
helped out a lot in many occasions.
Yeah, that's dope to hear though. That means that I'm when I hear things manifest from being led of God, it what it also does too, it not only helps the other person, but it helps me because it makes me realize how much more I'm recognizing his voice when he's
Right.
speaking to me. A lot of people, even such as myself, when I first was trying to like, how do I hear God's voice? Like,
Right.
what does it sound like? You
And-
know what I'm saying?
and
Like,
why am I? And you might think that you hear it, but it is very distinctive when you do. And I know
Yeah.
that you said that like it's something that a feeling that you never feel from any other thing before until
Yeah.
you get it again. Obviously.
so like what they always tell you or teach you is like, so like when you read the Bible, right? You read the stories of the characters in the Bible, and you're seeing how the conversations are going back and forth from God and whether it's Moses or whoever, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so a lot of times when we think about the voice of God, we realistically, all of us want to hear like that loud, audible voice, like you hear me talking to you right now.
Exactly.
Now, in some instances,
It happens that way.
it will happen that way. It can happen that way. It's happened to me once before. I know of other people that it's happened to before. And those are like those initial moments, like that just first you shake you up. You're like,
Right.
whoa, I know I didn't just, I'm not tripping. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But then,
Or you're taken back. Like, wait a minute.
yeah. It's kind of like how Moses in the burning bushes. God appeared to Moses in the burning bush. But after that, like, now he speaks to me in my spirit. You know what I'm saying? They describe it as that small, still voice. That's why they tell you sometimes you got to go into a room somewhere or something and just get quiet and just listen. You know what I'm saying? Listen to that small, still voice. And the Holy Spirit lives in us. You know what I'm saying? When you got a whole bunch of, you gotta, when you got a bunch of noise and stuff around you, it's easy to ignore because you got to be sensitive to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times something will come to you, and you'll just like scratch that like it's like as if it's just a regular little thought. But it's like no, sometimes you need to act on that. Right. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's
act on that first thing that come to you. That's God speaking to you. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's powerful.
But when God speaks to you, it's never gonna contradict the word. That's something that you also because people nowadays they can be like, oh yeah, God told me. God ain't tell you to do that.
Right.
Especially if it contradicts what He said in His word. No.
Because He's always gonna stick to the word that He said from the beginning.
Exactly.
Man, that's powerful.
Now, if anything, you might get a deeper revelation of something that He already said in the word, and it's not contradicting it. It's just a deeper understanding or deeper revelation of that. But it's not contradicting the word.
That's true. Man, that is powerful. So now getting back to it, what were you saying about like your reputation? Number one, is your reputation on the line, and just like the work ethic. Like, where did you get your barbering work ethic from, and everything like that?
Oh man, just I gotta eat, bruh. Like I said, my reputation is on the line. I gotta eat. I gotta make sure people come back. And the thing about me is, I feel like that's just what makes me me. Like, you know, you sit in my chair, Zay's gonna pay attention to the details. Zay is going to make sure that you look right when you get out of that chair. You know what I'm saying? Details is what make the cut. You know what I mean? That's just what separates me from every other barber is detail. Detail work. That's what makes me get those big tips and even, you know, helps me to raise my prices wherever I want to raise them. Like, you know what you come in here for.
Right.
I want to be like the Ruth Chris of barbershop. You know what I'm saying?
The Ruth Chris of barbershops. Now that makes sense. Of barbering, because like I said, like not too long ago, for example, you put out, and if you don't follow him on Instagram, you have to follow him because he is very even detailed on there with how you schedule your appointment. He goes through the whole details. He went from Booksy to another site that he uses, and he went over it like 5 or 6 times to the point where I even DM'd him. I was like, people must not be listening to your instructions. And
people don't listen.
And when you don't listen to the instructions that he gives you, like, you probably might not be able to get back into his chair. Like, for him, it's not necessarily about the money. Like, so speak to that on why your professionalism is top tier, second to none. And it's always like you're going to make sure that your rules are your rules, and your yeses are your yeses, and your no's are your no's. It's kind of like you said, sticking to the word. Like, you're going to be a man of integrity and a man of your word. Yeah,
like I said, I'm going to give you what I'm capable of. So, and another thing is, too, if you don't show that you're not just any old type of barber, you're not no sloppy barber or nothing like that, clients or customers take advantage of you. They'll run over you. They won't give you the respect that you really deserve.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They'll try to just hit you up whenever for a cut. They ain't gonna take you serious. They ain't gonna pay you the money that you're trying to be paid. You gotta earn your respect with people. Honestly, in a sense, like other than that, you either gonna enforce your rules and, you know what I'm saying, make them abide by that, or
they're not.
They're not gonna respect you. You're not gonna have a good time cutting hair.
So how did you get into like actually becoming a barber, and where did your path lead you? I know you had a sports background, and from there, like, let's talk about that.
So yeah, I had a sports background. Actually, the first sport I had interest of and playing was basketball.
Oh, okay.
I used to love playing basketball as a child. My hoop dreams got killed though in the 6th grade. I didn't make the team in middle school, bruh. I went to Alvarado Middle School in Union City at the time. I was in the 6th grade, and they only had a 7th and 8th grade team. And everybody's all talking about how ain't no 6th grader ever made the 7th or 8th grade team. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, bro. Like, I'm getting on the team.
Those
like,
rules don't apply to me.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when you out in the streets, you out at the park, whatever like that, you always one of the first top 2-3 picks.
You feel like you
feel like you the man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You like, bro, I got this. Like, I'm gonna make the team. I go out there and do my thing. I didn't make the first cut.
You was like, what?
I didn't make the first cut, and so with me playing my first season of Pop Warner football that season prior to basketball,
Right.
I had a pretty good first year playing football. I ended up being a starter. They had me playing a bunch of different positions.
Right.
So I was just like, forget it. I guess football is my sport. So I rock with
Exactly.
football. I rock with football all the way to junior college. And I also did boxing too. I started boxing at 13.
Yeah.
That was on and off. I mainly always played football. So my plans was
Same here, yeah.
my plans was always either if I don't stay with the football hustle, I'm gonna go back to boxing to what I'm also naturally good at.
Right.
And if not that, then I'm gonna go to cutting hair.
Mm-hmm.
First time I ever picked up some clippers, I actually started kind of doing my lineups like in 7th, 8th grade.
Right. Your own lineups, you started lining yourself up.
Yeah, started
Okay,
practicing
gotcha.
doing that. It wasn't until about maybe I'll say 11th grade until I actually went and bought some clippers of my
Right.
own. From when I couldn't always get to the barbershop across
Exactly.
town, and
Exactly.
not always having money to get my hair cut. My mom used to cut my hair as a kid growing up. So
I tried
wasn't
cutting
really-
my hair maybe one time, and that was an epic fail, and I never cut my hair again. I cut like a dinosaur in my hair. I kid you not. And if my sister watches this, she'll start cracking up when she sees this
Yeah.
part because that legit happened, and I was like, oh, never again.
Yeah.
I had to wear a hat for about a week because my parents was like, nah, you shouldn't have cut it. I
Bruh.
should have just rocked the Jordan and cut it all off.
Yeah,
but I
man,
was like,
it's
nah, I'm
not-
not cutting it all off.
It's not pretty at all messing
Yeah.
up your hair. I have never drastically messed up my hair, but I could look at like some old. I got an old football picture. It was in the newspaper too. I had balled out this game. I had like a gang of tackles, an interception. It's my first interception I ever got
Right.
in a high school game, and I ended up on the newspaper for the school I was playing for, and I'm looking at like I think it's this side of my line.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dang, I could tell I was pushing that back. I was crispy, but I was pushing it back.
Is it because you're a professional barber now? You be looking at all your old cuts and be like, man, why did I do that to myself?
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course. 'Cause you
yeah.
said-
I'm
like you
like,
said, you're a
dog.
perfectionist, so you're gonna look at it
I'm
like,
I
man, what was you
tripping.
doing?
Yeah, bro, I was crispy, but I was taking that side back. But fast forward, I didn't stay playing football. I made it to JUCO. I went with a couple of my teammates out to Cisco College
Yeah.
in the outskirts of Abilene. We was there for like half a week. We went, and the experience just wasn't it, bro.
Yeah, JUCO is a grind for sure. I coached JUCO. I played
And when I
JUCO,
say
it's
that,
not-
I don't mean like we went there expecting to start and we wasn't playing.
Right.
It was the fact that we was trying to practice. We was trying to earn our keep, and
And
we
it was
wasn't
like-
really getting the opportunity to earn our keep.
well, you know that they got the kickbacks in JUCO. That's what I've learned. A lot of JUCOs are like this. Like they're gonna get the people that live out there, and they're gonna be able to come on and like those are gonna make majority of your team. But the stars and people that they try to put in and to kick them out are people that come from like either big name colleges or they go and actually recruit.
Yeah.
If you're just walking on, you could be better than somebody, but because they brought this person in to specifically play,
Yeah.
they're gonna push them forward even if they're trash.
Yeah.
And
Dog,
majority of the time, that's
Bruh,
exactly what
let
happens.
Let me tell you. We wasn't no walk-ons. We had scholarship.
Right.
We had Pell Grants.
They
we
don't
was
care
in
about
there,
none of
bruh.
that. They
We was
just-
in there. I'm a defensive player, and the offensive coordinator handpicked me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
We was in there, bruh, and I remember, so in high school I played linebacker. Reason why, they had a dude on the varsity when I moved to Texas my 10th grade year. He was playing linebacker. He was about 5'6" and a half, 5'7", and he was cut strong. They wanted to move him from playing the wheel back to running back. They
Right.
wanted to move me up to play for the varsity. As soon as I got out there, I didn't play high school football my freshman year, so they couldn't, you know what I'm saying, transfer me over.
Exactly.
So I had to wait. But I ended up getting a linebacker position because I was the next best thing coming up behind him, who was fast. I could hit the hole,
Right.
and just play that position well.
And you
know what I'm
understood
saying?
it, just the game of football. You understood it.
Right.
So that makes sense.
So I was playing the wheelback high school. That's how I ended up playing linebacker. And so we get there. I noticed the dude that's starting at the JUCO, he the same size as me.
You know, you
Exact
like, wait,
same,
what?
exact same size as me. He just a
Mhm.
little bit more heavier on the stocky end. He wasn't not by muscle but by fat.
Right.
But that gave me the speed advantage because I could hit
Exactly.
the hole faster than him. So I'm watching him. I'm like, okay, I could take this dude's spot.
Right.
But we had about like 5-6 other dudes trying to play the same position. And
that's
they kept
what happens in JUCO, man. They be having like 5-6 people. They have 13 receivers. They have
dog.
17 DBs. You like,
Dog.
man, the rotations there's no rotation. Like, it's just eventually you just get tired of it. You're like, okay, dude.
And then, you know, just the coaches as well, like, wasn't respectful. You know what I'm saying? They talk to you like you.
All too well.
They talk to you like the doodle on the bottom of your shoe. You know what I'm
They
saying?
don't
Like,
care. A lot of these coaches out there, junior college, man, there's some good ones. Like, I coached with some good ones at Laney when I was up there. But when I played at Solano and even up there, it's like there's some coaches that just this cutthroat, man, because you got to think about it. Every year you're getting like a turnover of players.
Yeah.
So they don't care.
and we had dudes come from, I want to say Iowa State or something. We had dudes come from some D1s.
Yeah,
That was
bounce backs.
cool. But
We had some bounce backs that came from like New Mexico to play DB.
Yeah.
And you would think that they would get in and they would be doing stuff.
I even
it's
think
like,
we had a dude come from Russia.
they do play football.
I think we had a dude
like,
come. He came from somewhere across the country. We was like, "What you doing way out here?" We actually planned to do was we didn't quit. We planned to switch schools the next semester and go to Blinn Junior College.
Oh yeah, where
Cam Newton went there.
Yep. Exactly.
Reason why is because we had our a visit there before we went to Cisco in Cisco Junior College, and then when we got back to the school that same day, they said they ain't have no more scholarships.
So you're like, oh, I can't leave now, so I'm just stay over here.
Exactly. So that was the only hope that we had. So we went there, and we was like, you know, we just gonna try to walk on the next semester. That changed when I got back home. When I got back home, it's just like, okay, I ain't got nothing to do now. I got to get a job, and then honestly, before I went to junior college, I started having desires and thoughts to pursue boxing again.
Right.
It was just,
which was your passion too.
It was one of my other passions too. It was just like, you've been playing football for so long, and then you get the scholarships that you know you've been wanting a scholarship.
Right.
And then if you even talk about it or talk about that idea of switching to another sport, people was like, boy, please, like, you got a whole scholarship.
Right. Why are you gonna change now when you already got what you want? But that was in your heart though.
Yeah. So I seen, cause honestly, I was watching like a lot of Mayweather fights. I was watching. Was it All Access Showtime?
Yeah,
I was
when
watching
they
that.
follow the fighters and everything like that. Good show, actually.
And I loved it. I loved all the episodes, and I'm like, dang, bro. And another thing too, you don't have to go to college to be a professional boxer.
You could go just do the amateurs, and then after that, you can end up moving up. It's like there's not. It's a lot that goes into it, and it takes a while.
Yeah.
But it's super competitive, just like the fights, obviously. But
when I went, and one of my coaches from my high school team, he actually used to be involved in boxing, and he had a cousin that fought professional, and so I contacted him to let me get the number to the coach, you know, to the gym, whatever. I got connected with this good coach named Glenn Searles out in Waco, Texas. Real good coach. When he found out I was moving back to the Bay, he was about to let me live with him.
Oh, he didn't want you to go. He was like, no, you need to just stay out here.
We was training, bruh. I was 185 pounds at the time.
Right.
We was training, and then I say about 3 months late November to by February, I was 150 pounds.
So you lost almost 35 pounds? Man, that's crazy.
And I was going lower than that. I was going to like 140. The lowest I got to was like 145.
Dang. No, I couldn't even imagine that.
I was working out. I had this job. I was working at an M&M factory. And it was from like early morning to like 3 o'clock. So when I get off at 3 o'clock, I go home, get my gear for the boxing gym, and then I go to the gym at 4:30, and be there for like 2-3 hours, maybe about like 3 hours till like 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Right.
And I go home and do the same routine. When I had that job, or just before me having that job, I would work out twice a day. So I get up early in the morning, go on a few mile run, go back home, and then I might have maybe even did a treadmill workout in between time before I go to the gym.
Yeah, just get yourself back in shape and do everything, especially in between the gym. Yeah. Boxing takes a lot. It takes a lot of like discipline, effort, and when you in the ring, even though you have your your people that you sparred with, and you have your training, like you're by yourself inside the ring.
Yeah.
So they could be telling you all this stuff though, but you
Yeah.
actually have to do it. It's not like a team
Yeah.
sport; it's an individual.
That's
thing.
when I found out it was a different type of in shape from
Oh,
playing
yeah.
football to boxing.
Definitely a different shape. Definitely a different type of shape.
You know what's crazy though is I never used to like to. Well, I ain't gonna say never used to like to run, but like you know all that extra like conditioning running that you got to do in football practice.
Especially like afterwards, you talking about like suicides or
Yeah,
like
you
gassers.
hate it.
Yeah, of
you
course.
hate it, but boxing made me enjoy running because I actually got in shape to run.
Getting back from there, do you think that that discipline that you put in from your boxing and everything like that, all that from spiritual, your boxing discipline and everything like that, is that all manifesting itself through like your barbering and where you are now, how you've kind of plateaued, not plateaued but moved forward?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely say that because like after sports, I do notice like certain stuff where I'm having issues like disciplining myself.
Right. I mean,
I be like, dang, bruh. When I was playing sports, I had like it gives me a reason to stay disciplined. Like when it comes to my dieting, right?
Right.
I'm not just eating any and everything because I have a reason. I got something to get ready for.
Okay, I gotta get ready for this weight, or like I'm be out of shape, I'm gonna be messed up, I can't run and do other things like that. But
when it comes to just working out and just trying to eat healthy, I can do it for a while, and then I start to hit that plateau. Like, man, I just want to eat whatever.
Right.
I wanna do whatever.
You get tired of it, you be like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this. I'll be all right.
But when I got an objective, it's just like, okay, no, we're gonna stick to this.
Right.
It's worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not as troubling.
No, that's true. I mean, I look at it like that. Like me coaching, I'll be out there and I'll be running with my players, but that got me like, okay, dang, you out of shape. Then I started going to the gym, and during quarantine, you know, people was chilling and you eating what you want to, drinking. I know you don't drink, right?
No, I don't drink.
See, yeah, I would drink a little bit, and then by the time you look up, you be like, okay, no, I need to get this weight off. I got to get disciplined or whatever.
Right.
So that kind of goes hand in hand with like your craft and your haircuts and stuff like that, because you got to be disciplined with like your booksy, how you book people, how you do other things like that, and all
Even
that
finishing the cut, bro, you can be in the middle of a cut. You be like, dude, I'm ready to get this dude over with.
Right.
And you probably in the middle of the head, and you still got a whole beard and everything to do. You be like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to hurry up and get done with. Yeah, especially when you've been working all day, you ain't had nothing to eat, and then your food get there. And you hungry.
Yeah.
You on an empty stomach smelling your French fries.
That's why I usually would be like, man, go eat. Or just like, you know, go ahead and eat. I ain't got nothing to do. I always book my appointments to the point where I don't have anything to do beforehand or afterhand. And I always try to show up early.
See, you smart. I hate when people try to book an appointment right before they got to go do something. Then hey, you think you can finish it?
Because you're rushing it. I mean, you don't want to rush your cut.
You want greatness. You can't rush greatness.
Right.
You can't rush perfection. You gonna sit in my chair. You gonna do what I want you to do. No.
I mean, really, if you think about it, though, that's the way it should be, though, because like if we're on your time. You scheduled the appointment. That's why I always be like, well, you scheduled the appointment. You know what time your appointment was. Why would you show up and be like, oh, I'm late? I mean, circumstances in life does happen. Don't get me wrong, but you want to be there on time and everything. And if you follow Isaiah after this, or you follow zaystylin after this, you're gonna realize that he will get on you and he'll put the camera this close to his face and be like, if you book it at 10 o'clock,
bro, I don't be playing
I need you to be there before 10 o'clock. If you're there after 10:07, your spot could be gone.
Hey, look, people better be glad that this COVID thing got the barbershop shifted a little bit, because before all of this, if you had an appointment and you was running behind and I didn't know you was running behind, if a walk-in come in, you really could like lose your spot. Like, it's like I'm telling this walk-in I got an appointment, but I'm just sitting here and this time is going by and he looking at me like, worried, you know what I'm saying, what's going on? It's like, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna miss out on twice as much of the money, because if you ain't coming, let me know you're not coming a long ahead of time. But then number two, we got somebody here that needs to be serviced.
Exactly.
What am I supposed to do?
And people don't get that. Or even like if you're like me booking my appointment, I always make sure before I hit reserve, like now you have to hit reserve. Don't hit reserve and pay. And he must have said this like 10 times
before
we even moved over into this new like booking site that he uses.
And I still had like 2 people hit reserve and pay. I was like, you niggas don't read worth a crap. You niggas don't read, man.
I do that. That's always like, okay, he must be saying this. Like it embeds in your head, and it's like you don't want him to be like, oh no, decline. I'll rather just give you your money and go somewhere else as opposed to being in the seat because you
I
know,
don't. I
like
don't
it's
be
gonna
trying
be
to sound
that.
like too hard or nothing like that on nobody. It's just I take y'all serious, so
Right.
take me serious.
No,
you know
it's
what I'm
true.
saying?
It's true.
I
Like I
don't
said.
like getting to an appointment and then, especially the first appointment in the morning, you get there, no call, no show. Nobody. I could have still been in bed.
Right. No, that's true. And like I said, it's a waste of your time, but it's also like you about to be on your feet for like 10, 12 hours.
That's
And
not the way I want to start the day.
exactly.
Man.
You don't want to start the day with somebody that just basically no call, no shows on a haircut. It's like you made the appointment. Why would you not be able to make it? So it
Right.
really doesn't make any sense.
And then another thing too is just like I hear clients all the time talk about how barbers will do inconsiderate stuff. I
Right.
try my best not to be those barbers.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say I try. Oh yeah, I do try it, which is I put in the effort to not make those mistakes that other barbers make, which are not being considerate of the client's time.
Right,
The
true.
barbers showing up 20 and 30, 40 minutes late
And
to their
just
appointments.
getting in
I don't
on the
understand
phone
that
and
crap.
all that, and then you just cutting and you like taking heck of breaks or whatever.
Right.
Like,
That lack of communication.
that's the key. That's a huge one. Too.
I'm hard on myself. So maybe because I'm hard on myself, I might be a little bit harder on other people. But I'm a person. I practice what I preach.
Right.
So I'm gonna talk all day.
Exactly.
If I ain't practicing what I'm preaching, I ain't gonna talk about it.
No, that makes sense. I mean, you're holding yourself accountable, so why shouldn't you hold other people accountable?
Right.
It actually makes sense.
Right.
So going forward, this being at the new shop, let's talk about what are some of the avenues that you want to go to and what you want to use this new platform in this new area to kind of push your career forward. Like, what are you looking for?
You know what? I'm not looking for nothing in particular. I just want whatever blessings God got for me being
Right.
where I'm at, bruh. Like,
Right.
because I was just telling somebody, I think yesterday, like, you never know what barbering could bring you. Like, I was telling a client, I think it was a client in my chair yesterday, how, like, barbering can open up so many avenues because you see these things from other barbers. Like,
Right.
it's a barber, he's pretty famous on IG right now, named JC the Barber. He's an Asian cat. He cuts a lot of athletes, entertainers, singers, and stuff. And I remember once before, I don't know if he still got it now, but he was ended up sponsored by Nike. I mean, not Nike, by Adidas.
Right, which is crazy. A barber that has
An Adidas
shoe
sponsor.
sponsorship.
It's another barber named I think it's Marcus Harvey or something like that. But you heard of that league now? It's called like the FCL, the Fan Control League.
Fan Control League.
He's a barber and he ends up being a host on the show. Like,
which is crazy. He's hosting that. Yeah.
and you're a barber.
Exactly.
Like, you wouldn't think like a barber affiliated with sports, like, but somebody got to cut the athlete's hair.
Exactly.
I mean, from that aspect, but being a host or getting a sponsor, like, you never know what doors or avenues barbering could open up for you, especially when you network with people.
And that's what it's about. Your networking skills are going to be like crucial in that field because you think about it, you're always meeting people, you're introducing them, and you're like, oh well, yeah, follow me. You're basically like a walking billboard because you give people your Instagram name, and then the first thing they're gonna look at is that. I know when I was looking for a barber, I was like, okay, well, let me look at the Instagrams. I went to one, then I came upon another, and then I came upon you, and I was like, okay, everything is going good. And like I said in the beginning, the first thing that I asked you was like, oh, what are you known for? You're like, well, just being consistent. Like I'm a consistent barber, and it's been that throughout the time, which is exactly what it is. How are you using your Instagram in order to like create a bigger buzz and also to use it for like business and branding? Because I mean, being a barber, you're your own brand. How are you using that?
I mean, I post my cuts and I post about God. I post about a little bit of everything. You know what? I don't really want to like first things first. Yes, advertise your business. That's what it's for. It's your business page. But I don't necessarily just want to be categorized as just the barber.
Right.
Like, people like you for your crafts and stuff, but if you can give them more, they love that also as well.
Right.
Like, so I don't just necessarily want to be put in the box as just this is just a barber page. Like, no, I want you to come to my page because you entertain.
Right.
You're not only entertained by my haircuts, but you like the spiritual insight that God
True.
uses me to bring.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, you might like something humorous that I post on there. You know what I mean? Like,
no, that's dope. See, you're using your platform for what God wants you to do, and
Yeah.
that always makes it not only feel better, but you're gonna end up using it for the right things to be successful, and you're not just necessarily chasing a paycheck.
mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward, what do you want to bring for the rest of like your time in the barber game, but also like what are you looking forward to? Like what is something that like a goal that you have?
As far as barbering,
Yeah.
man, you know, I don't, I don't have a specific goal. Like, I guess the goal, you know, I ain't gonna even say that. I feel like a lot of people automatically assume because you're a barber, the goal is get a shot.
Yeah.
I don't. That's not my goal. That was never my goal. I just wanted, when I first got into barbering, I just wanted a good job because it beats working a 9 to 5, and people always talk about you can control your own schedule and stuff like that.
Right.
That fits me. You know, I've worked a few jobs when I was pursuing boxing and stuff. Working jobs can be cool depending on where you at and you know who you working around. But other than that, I don't like it.
You know,
I don't.
I
like
work a
it.
job, but I don't like it. But trust me, I understand. It's like if you gotta find what. That's why I kind of started
like
this. I want to start doing my own thing and enjoying it, and I like to have have nice conversations with people who are in different like areas and pick their brain.
Yeah.
That's basically what I'm using Real Talk with BK for, and I think that so far it's off to a pretty success.
Yeah.
Like that you're using, and you said you're just a vessel you're gonna use and just go with as the times go, but you have goals of your own. I could see you, like I told you, I could see you opening your own shop. I could see you doing that.
A lot of people can. A lot of people say that all the time.
I could see it. I mean, like I said, you ran a shop. Not only that though, but now that you're in this different environment with like business minded people and people that are using their brands like to really do that. Barbering is huge in this day and age, man. So those are some of the things that I see for sure.
One of my things is though, for me personally, I really need to learn the formula of what it takes to run a business. When I was working at KBS with Slim, she originally opened that. That's her solo shop. That was like her suite. It just ended up turning into a barber shop.
Right.
From her lending out helping hands to other people who needed
Which is
to
huge.
cut.
I mean, that's a good thing that she was even able to do that. I didn't know that. It seems like it's just like a full-fledged barbershop, but now that you look at it, it is like a studio type base, like I said.
Yeah. And so, you know, when she would, you know, go out and travel, I'd be there by myself with just us two being there. But I wasn't really running nothing. Like, I was just carrying on with my schedule while she was gone.
Right.
You know, I was just making sure everything was, you know, when you
Just
leave,
making sure the
lock
building
shop,
didn't burn down. Like, you just make sure everything is cool.
Yeah. Other than that, though, you know, with me moving over to where I'm at now, Double Edge, you know, I'm around people like, you know, Donald.
Yeah, I went to school with Donald. Shout out Donald, one of the best barbers out here.
What
for
up,
sure.
man? Donald, and then the team of people I'm around with, we all trying to. One thing that Donald always talks about is holding each other accountable.
Right.
And holding each other accountable will cause you to elevate. So that's what I really felt like I needed, just to be in an environment. Sometimes you just need a different environment, a change of atmosphere, being with like-minded people. Not to say I wasn't with nobody like-minded previously, but sometimes you just need something different, and somebody, or be around people or somebody who is really gonna like get up to speed with you and just be like, okay, we about to really do this thing. You know what I'm saying?
And like you said, get up and be in a different environment, but also sometimes you just outgrow certain situations.
Yeah.
And it's about going to something where you can only grow yourself, your brand, but also your business acumen.
Right.
Because that's really what you're trying to do. You're trying to get to the point where you grow that, so that way you can eventually own your own shop and do other things like that.
And see, like Donald, he has a lot of years experience running a shop.
Mm-hmm.
I call him one of the, you know, Bay Area goats. Like, a lot of us on this end, we look at people like out in Atlanta or somewhere across on Instagram that's doing their thing, that's famous, whatever. Donald is that in the Bay Area,
which
you know
is huge. Yeah, he's cutting Warrior players.
And he's very humble dude too.
Cutting
very
the Niners players, Raiders. I mean, he
Yeah.
has high end clientele.
He got
too.
game, bruh. And one of the things he told me before it even came to talking about me even getting over there was that he wanted somebody there that was willing to be poured into as far as learning about the business,
Mm-hmm.
learning about taxes,
Right.
all other kind of stuff. Just somebody willing to be poured into and soak up all that game.
That's
I'm
huge.
that dude. That's what I wanted. So that's why ultimately I went ahead and made that transition. What he was describing was what I needed, was what I was looking for.
Exactly what you were looking
Right.
for, which
So-
makes sense. And I knew it was going to be successful. And like I said, I had been there a couple of times, but as soon as you told me you were going over there, I was like, cool. Just let me know when it is. The next appointment, I'll be over there. So let them know once again where they can find you on IG.
Oh, you can find me at zaystylin. That's ZAYSTYLIN. Zaystylin. You can find me at Double Edge Barbershop in Vallejo, California. All you got to do, go on my Instagram page, click the book now button, and my services, my website Squire, will pop up, and you can select the service that best fits what you need.
So yeah, I'll put all that information at the end and put the link in the bio. And I just want to say thank you for coming out, man. Thank you for giving us your background,
Appreciate you
your
having me,
information,
man.
man. This has been a really good interview. I think that he's not only one of the most talented barbers in the Bay Area, or one of the barbers in Cali, period, but also just a humble individual, but also such a smart and ready businessman that's up for success. So you're gonna get a lot more of this and more on more episodes of Real Talk with BK. So I want to say thank you for coming out, man. You guys like, follow, and subscribe, man, and let's just keep it moving. I appreciate you guys for being out here.
So.